How many multitudes of women have been convinced over the decades? I would say from the 20th to the 21st centuries for sure. Before that, there really wasn't much of an issue, but how many women have been convinced that the best things that they can do for their homes and their family, their husbands, their children, is staying home with them? I used to believe that too. And I am kind of looking at a script here, people, because I'm really tired. I'll explain that later, and I'm just not thinking clearly. So I needed some way to kind of gather my thoughts. So bear with me. But anyway, and it is a noble calling. I'm the first to say that. And being a mother is the most important job on the face of the earth. I'm a firm believer in that. However, the problem is whether or not one is married to a man who is dedicated to that proposition and the proposition that he needs to support and edify his wife. And that's where I think we see all of the discrepancies, because, and I've addressed this before, men just, they don't have the mindset that women have. And their attitude, I believe, what I've seen, and not just in my own life, but in many lives, that it's okay for the woman to stay home and support the man with all of his efforts, and maybe even support him in creating a business and maintaining that business, and the woman being a part of that business, and supporting the children, supporting the home, dedicating her life. I mean, she's supporting everything and everybody. Only if things go haywire and she has decided that for her own well-being, she's got to step out of that model, then the men will flip the script and they're the only ones who have been supporting you all these years. So everything belongs to them. And in so many cases, these women have been left without Social Security. I mean, come on, it's frightening. It's frightening because you've dedicated your life, and now here you are, and you're not young anymore, and you're having to get out there and fight that world now. You don't even have any Social Security of your own. And I do understand that women can claim the husband's Social Security. I get that, but still, they're vulnerable, and they have no income of their own. They have no savings of their own. They have no 401ks that belong solely to the. They don't have anything, and so this is kind of going to segue into, and I don't really want to talk about myself all the time. I really don't. But this is an example of what happens to women in these situations. I'm not going to say that I was entirely without fault in the matter of not being employed. I was doing better financially than I had ever been doing probably in my entire life. However, the situation in which I was working became, and I'm going to say this as politely as I can, it became extremely untenable. It was affecting my mental and emotional well-being. So, and again, I made a really bad mistake. I only had that one client. I had put my eggs in one basket, and then when we came to a mutual agreement that I was not going to be coming back, here I am. I'm unemployed. And at this point, I have no clients. I did have the one client, if y'all will remember. However, and according to the client, she will be calling me back. But what happened was that I got a really good opportunity, and I know that God meant this for good, because it came at a time when I had the time to devote to CNA classes. Get off my kitchen counter, Jay. He's always getting on my kitchen counter. I don't know why. He has water. It's changed regularly. He goes up there to drink water, I think. Well, anyway, I digress. So I'm unemployed. I have the free time. And I was trying to brainstorm how I could get this done, budget, and I was talking to a very dear friend who lives way off in another state about, the fact that I probably needed to take these classes, that I had tried to do it through the state so often, and every time it was like God just stamped his foot and said, no, you're not going this route. And so God moved upon my friend's heart and her husband's heart to gift me the money for tuition for the CNA classes. So that's one of the reasons I haven't been on YouTube in the past week. They're full-time classes, and I just haven't been able to do the videos. And I still try not to cry when I talk about it. I mean, I was just so grateful for their generosity and their concern, because I was really frantic about how I was going to manage the tuition. And it wasn't just staggering, but it was very concerning to me. And so I'm so grateful to them, and I'm so grateful to God for giving me such friends. And so now I'm doing the CNA classes, and so far it's going really well. I'm a little bit concerned because, having worked in the hospital setting, I think I was a good PCT. I think I was very capable, and I'm not patting myself on the back, because I'm about to confide that being in this class and doing what they call the labs, it becomes very clear to me, oh my soul, if I'm going to fail anywhere, it's going to be with the protocol, the order in which care is to be given, the words that are to be said, the actions that are to be performed, in what order. That's what's going to get me. I'm very concerned about that, because when you're on the floor in a hospital, you can maintain that integrity, you can maintain those ethics, but the protocol, if you will, kind of goes down the drain, because if you get into a room full of doctors and nurses and techs and transport people and what have you, you're really just looking at getting the job done, and getting that person back to where they're supposed to be, And so, rolling up your bed pads and putting them in a certain place, and covering the patient with the bath sheet and stuff like that. Sometimes we fall into not maintaining modesty the way we should, and maybe in some cases not even maintaining privacy the way we should. And when I'm doing these labs, I become very aware of that. It's like, Lord, this is really going to trip me up. So that's where I am now. And thank God you can take the state exam. I think it's like 3 times in 1 year. You have to pay every time you do it, but the costs are not staggering to do that. So, I really am prayerful that if I don't pass it the first time, I pass it the second time. I am, God willing, going to spend the holiday weekend, because they're giving us the 4 days. And God willing, that's what I'm going to be really focusing on, is the protocol of the services that we perform. So anyway, but I just, again, I really want to caution young women, don't go into marriage without your own resources. You're convinced that this is going to last forever. You're convinced that y'all are going to grow old and die together. Well, sometimes that just doesn't happen. And what I've seen out of life, more often than not, you wind up with somebody that you don't even know. And that's what I used to tell people when I was in the process of divorce. How did I express it? I found out that I was living with someone that I didn't even know, and when I divorced him, I sure didn't know him. So people just turn ugly, and they turn really, really ugly about money and assets. So I would truly caution young women to keep that in mind. And for the older women who are thinking about divorce, especially the Christian women, the more conservative Christian women especially, it's so hard to ever think of those assets as belonging to both of you. And sometimes we hear them say it: my money, my taxes, my bank account, my car, my house, whatever. It gets to a point where even the woman doesn't realize that it belongs to her too. So claim what is yours. Do not let go of what is yours. Because especially if you have spent your entire marriage devoting your personal resources to supporting the husband, the home, and the family, then likely as not, you're going to be left with absolutely nothing. And that's very sad, but it's a hard fact that I think most women have to cope with. And so what I'm praying that I can do is that I can go to work PRN, and then I want to concentrate on content creation. There is another route that I've realized that I can also take in supporting my dreams of content creation. However, for right now, the CNA, PCT certifications are hands down the most realistic way I can support what I would like to, I can support my goals, let's put it that way. So Anyway, yeah, and I do that. I'll bring up a script and then I get carried away and I'll hardly ever look at it. But, yeah, maintain your financial independence. You must have financial independence. I know at some point I saw an interview conducted by Lisa Sunny, and the woman that she was interviewing highly recommended that there be at least a money market account opened up solely in the wife's name, so that money market account is hers and hers alone. And I think that this is so important because it's not easy to start over after 50. It's less easy to start over after 60. And I've seen comments on YouTube of women who are going through this in their 70s. And it's a very real and disturbing problem. So, God has provided. My aunt used to sing this song, God sends a rainbow. It's a hymn. A lovely rainbow. He sends a rainbow when it rains. He sends the sunshine at just the right time. He sends a rainbow when it rains. And he does. And he has always provided. He will always provide. It may not be in the way I want him to, but I'm just so deeply touched by what my friends did for me. I'm so very grateful, and I'll never forget that as long as I live. And don't feel bad about being in that position, because my friend reassured me. She said, that blesses me. That blesses me. And I know that when I was in a position to do things like that, it blessed me too. So just keep that in mind. And yeah, I'll try to keep everybody updated, because I told everybody I was going to take them on my little unemployment journey with me, and then all of this other stuff got in the way. I started hectoring about a bunch of other topics. But anyway, yeah, give me your thoughts, and if you have any suggestions, if you have experiences, similar experiences, share those with it, because there are so many women going through this, and we need the benefit of each other's experience and wisdom. We really do. So please throw something out there in the comments. I would be so honored. I'd be delighted. I'm busy right now, but I guarantee you that I will endeavor to check in and get back to you. Thank you all so much. And I'm sorry I'm real lethargic tonight. I'm just so tired. Thank you all so much.